All right, well, here you are again looking for solutions to your problems on the internet. Look, this show is about taking ownership of your own mental health and your own life and your own thoughts, frankly. So if there are bad habits, toxic habits, behaviors that you're looking to eliminate, I cannot tell you what to do. But instead, I would like to take the time to share with you the processes that I have used to overcome an addiction to pornography, to overcome a marijuana habit that really took a toll on my life. And it's the process I'm using right now to work on this problem that I have with overeating, believe it or not. Okay, so I appreciate the fact that you are looking for help, looking for advice on the internet, and I'm glad that you're here. But let me make it very clear, I cannot tell you what to do and I cannot judge you. Instead, what we'll do today is quickly recap that 3-step process for seeing and taking ownership of some of these toxic habits we'd like to develop past. And then we will go forward and dive in on the 3rd step, expression, because that is where we get our hands dirty. That is where we begin to do the work of self-development. We're going to first talk about this idea of dispossession and how can we begin to think about ourselves, to begin to think for ourselves, and why should you even bother? And when it comes to expression, you might be asking, well, what the heck am I supposed to express? What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to write or talk about? The move away from dispossession to active ownership of your life will lead to time for observation and awareness about yourself, and that is the fuel for expression. And you can start to see solutions for yourself. Today is about starting your move away from dispossession. We'll talk about what that means. Away from passivity to an active control, to building a life that you want to live. And it starts right up here. Let's get into it. All right, so thank you once again for checking out Self-Control. This is a podcast and a YouTube series that simply wants to inspire you to take control of your mind, your mindset, and your thoughts to build a life that you deserve. And I do this simply by sharing insights into how I am doing this for myself. There's no judgment here. There's no you have to do this or that or not do this or that. This is a place where we come to talk about what it looks like and what it means to build that life that we deserve. So in our last episode, and for our podcast listeners, that would have been 2 episodes ago, but for our viewers, that would be our most recent episode. If you are interested in more content, check out the podcast feed because we do a bonus episode on Sundays all about mindfulness and how mindfulness can help us live a better life. So in that last episode, we talked about 3 steps towards quitting bad habits. They were awareness, acceptance, and expression. So I encourage you to check out that last episode, but let me put it to you this way. Awareness of our issues is worth its weight in gold. And the fact that you are aware of some issues, some problems, some habits in your life that you want to develop past, that is a huge step forward that you've already taken. Great job. From awareness, we move to acceptance, and that is honestly looking at ourselves and saying, yes, this is the case. We talked about how a lot of those issues, whether it's a habit of using drugs, alcohol, maybe it's behaviors like procrastination, promiscuity, using pornography, maybe you have a habit of yelling at your kids. There are things that we all do that we are aware of that we would like to develop past, we would like to improve upon. We at some point have to accept that that is the case. So again, we went deeper into that in the last episode. Please check that out. The final step in that 3-step process was expression. And you know, the Latin root of expression, you might not be surprised, it means to press out. It's like you're a big juicy orange and we need to press out that juice. These thoughts, this awareness, these beliefs we have about ourselves, all that is going on within us needs to be pressed out, needs to be brought out. And that's what we're talking about today. Let's not forget, we may have this awareness of our issues. We may even have accepted that these issues are a part of our life and that we need to work on them. That is, in a sense, the cure. These issues happen when we are blind. They happen in the dark. They happen when we are ignorant to them. So again, great job deciding to take ownership. Great job in opening your eyes and looking at the issue. But if awareness is the cure, Now we have to move on towards rehabilitating ourselves. It's not enough just to be aware. It's not enough just to say, yeah, I'm doing this and maybe one day I'll change. Expression, that final step, is how we begin to take control. And you might be saying, well, what is this? I'm going to write in a journal. I'm going to start a podcast like some goof. I'm going to have a vlog. I'm going to have a TikTok. Look, it could be anything. I'm not saying that you need to express yourself for other people like I do, although you may someday. The point here is that juice within you needs to be pressed out. So if you have some kind of reasoning or limiting belief around, well, I don't like to keep a journal, I don't know how to write, I don't know how to think, apparently, I don't talk much about myself. As you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but let me ask you this question. You were willing enough to go onto the internet, whether it's podcasting or YouTube, and type in the problem that you think you have about yourself. Now that shows a great awareness and it shows enough to start developing, to start doing the work, but your instinct was to ask somebody else. And I'm not saying you haven't done your own work, but this is the instinct that I saw in myself as well. It's to look outside the self for the problems that we wish to solve. You spend a lot of time, as I did, consuming the ideas of other people, right? Your favorite podcaster, your favorite YouTube show, social media influencers, the news, commentators of all sorts. All of these ideas come at us from outside sources. And I'm not saying not to consume those ideas, but ask yourself this. You spend all this time consuming the thoughts of other people. How much time do you spend consuming the thoughts of your own about yourself? Because that is where the magic is. So at the start of the episode, when I mentioned this idea of dispossession, that is, in a sense, what I'm talking about. It is we are dispossessed from ourself when we are not willing to think for ourselves, right? We no longer have possession of ourself when we are not thinking for ourselves and when we are not expressing the ideas that we have within us. Okay, enough of this. If you need proof, well, there's not much I can really say beyond this is the process that I used to quit marijuana because I knew it was taking a toll on my life, to quit my 15-year-long pornography addiction because I knew it was ruining my life, and it is now the process I'm using to continue to heal my relationship with food and the way I eat. Step number 1 is observation to create awareness. Now, this is not about expression generally, but when it comes to expressing ourselves, we often ask, well, what do I write? Like I had a friend of mine, he said, well, I see you're all about this journaling now. I tried journaling, I didn't know what to write. When that is the case, I often suggest you have the issue that you're looking to get over, right? Whether that's a bad habit, perhaps some emotional trouble, there's a relationship in your life that needs work, make that the focus of your journaling. But this idea of observation simply has to do with watching ourselves. And awareness is to become wary, to develop caution about potential problems. So, as I do, I have a problem, it seems, with overeating. I need to pay attention to that, and that's part of what I write about. I express what I see. I say, well, I came home from a tough night at work, a little tired, a little strung out. I decided to throw on a podcast, started eating. Wasn't thinking about what I was eating. Did I even need to eat? What I was eating wasn't on the meal plan for the day. Let's observe what I did. Let's become wary. Let's become aware of the problems as they arise. That right there is fuel for expression. We now go from watching ourselves to pressing out, to talking about what we've seen. It's the simplest thing. Like, look, you're willing to let me tell you how to do this? You should now be willing to do it for yourself. Look at what you are doing and then write about it, talk about it, make a video about it. Write it on the wall for all I care. Scream it from the mountaintops. It has to come out so that you can hear it.